When do I find my place in the world? And the short answer is, nobody knows. Nobody can answer that question. You can't just say, next Saturday, or on the 5th of May after breakfast at 7 o'clock. You know, it doesn't work like that. And I guess another question you can ask yourself to find out, or to help you think about this in a clearer level, is, how do I find a purpose? What makes me wake up every day and go to work? And not just going to work as in your job, but going to work as in working on every single area of your life. So your job, that's one area. Your health, so you go to the gym, or you go running or swimming, it's another area. Or, you know, building relationships with your friends, it's another area. What makes you wake up and improve on those? Now this question, the question of when do I find my place in the world, was shared with me through my church fellowship group from back home. Shout outs to Rodham. I hope you guys are doing well. And that gave me an idea for something to talk about while I'm away for the next month or so. So when do I find my place in the world? Well, the answer is, you find your place in the world when you find purpose. Okay, so how do I find purpose? Most people these days, they go to work and then they go home and then they go on their phone. They might scroll YouTube, scroll TikTok, they might watch Netflix, then they cook dinner and they scroll some more while they eat dinner, and then they clean up. Maybe they listen to music or something while they clean up, and then they go to bed. And maybe again, they listen to music or something while they sleep. They have no time to sit with themselves. The world has too many distractions nowadays. And because there's so many distractions, you never have time to think about your life in a very big picture. Because all the distractions are very short term. You know, shorts, video shorts. You see a 20-second video and you laugh, and you go to the next video. How do I get myself to laugh again? You keep scrolling. Watch Netflix. But when do you allow yourself to just sit there and think? Every time you're there consuming all these forms of content, you're killing your brain's ability to think and analyze and figure out what your life should be. And this is quite a big factor in why there's a lot of depression going on today. And depression happens when you don't have a purpose. When I was depressed, it was the same thing. I just finished my esports career and I had no purpose. So what happened? I became depressed. You need time with no distractions to just sit with yourself. When do you find your place in the world? When do you find your purpose? Well, the first thing is, a purpose doesn't have to be something big. You know, you don't have to be like Elon Musk and say, my purpose is to colonize Mars and build spaceships. But even Elon Musk himself, he didn't just suddenly wake up, had a bowl of cereal, and then just suddenly thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to take the human race to Mars. It doesn't work like that. Things like this come to you very gradually, in steps. Sometimes your purpose is impossible to see from where you are right now. And the only way you can get there and to start seeing some sense of purpose is to do something that improves your life situation, something that is very achievable. So for example, I was talking about how I had no purpose. I didn't know where my place in the world was. One of the first things that I did was to get in better shape. I was a bit chubby. People were calling me fat. You know how Asian families are with their straightforward comments, calling me fat. And that was when I realized, you know what? I'm a bit chubby, I'm kind of fat. And I'm not happy with that. So let's do something about it. So for the next few months, my purpose was to lose weight. And then when I started seeing results 1 or 2 months in, I was like, you know what? This is progress. And progress is one of the biggest motivators out there to keep you going. So the next month, I was like, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's keep cutting down the fat and see if I can get a six-pack. So I kept going. But at that time, I didn't have the purpose that I do now. I didn't have the purpose of building a financially free empire with my bros so I can raise a family and go traveling and teach my kids and raise them on how to be good people, etc. Back then, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just focused on the step ahead of me and what I can achieve. And as I achieved things, as I gained purpose, I became more confident in myself. Because when you accomplish things, you tell yourself that whatever you tell yourself to do, you can do it. You have accomplished it. You completed it. And that builds confidence. Look at this view. So achieving little things slowly build confidence. And once you have enough level of confidence, you can start setting bigger goals. And then the next level is when you do set bigger goals, people start laughing at you. You might tell other people. But that's because they've never gone through that. They've always done what we talked about earlier, scrolling TikTok, not spending time to think for themselves, etc. So they won't understand how far you are along down this road. So that's the first thing of finding your place in the world, is to start with something that is achievable, that improves your life, which in my case was losing weight and getting in shape. And I recommend fitness to everyone as a start, because fitness makes your body feel good, which makes your mind feel good. And once your mind feels good, that's when you can start developing a stronger level of discipline, a stronger mindset. And that's when you have more confidence to not let other people drag you down. And it's small steps. So after I got fitness, after I was happy with the shape I'm in, what next? I was a bit more confident now. So I started talking to people more. Well, how do I make talking to people more enjoyable? How do I improve my social skills? So for the next few months, that's what I focused on. How do I make myself more likable, but also more importantly, how do I make myself more enjoyable when I'm around other people? How do I make their time with me worth it? How do I make them like spending their time with me? You know, giving them entertainment, giving them value. And that's what I worked on. And that's what I'm still working on, actually. It's a never-ending skill. It's one of those things where you got to never stop learning. And once I started talking to people more, and I started coming out of my shell and enjoying life a little bit more, and as I grew older, into my late 20s, I realized, you know, this is all good and all, but now I need money because I plan to have a family. I want to have a family. You know, I want to raise my kids and teach them how to be strong and happy and intelligent people. I want to travel. I want to experience the world. Because as you travel, you learn things, which again, you can teach to your kids. So these are things that started coming to me as I've made those small steps. But way back in the beginning, when I was a bit chubby and fat, when I just stopped my esports career and had no purpose, I wasn't thinking about traveling. I wasn't thinking about having kids. I wasn't thinking about being financially free. Those things were way beyond my vision back then, because the me at that point was in no position and did not have the mind to think about all those things. He had too many barriers in front of him that he had to overcome. It's like a wall in front of you, right? It's like this mountain right here. I'll show you this. You're gonna see it. So this is where I'm going, right? You can't really see anything beyond this. But as I go up, and as I conquer those barriers, and now I turn around, look what I can see. Look at this. That's exactly what it was for me back then. Because when I was chubby and fat and just came off playing video games as a living, I was back down that way. I couldn't see all this. I had to first overcome that little step before I can see the bigger picture out here. And when do you get to see this bigger picture? How many of those little steps do you have to overcome before you can see this bigger picture? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But the real purpose is to keep climbing the steps, is to keep finding small goals that improve your life. One day, let's say you want to be able to do 50 push-ups. The next day, you want to do more than 10 pull-ups. You become physically fit. Maybe the next day you want to learn a bit more about social skills. Maybe the next day you want to learn a bit more about how to be better at your job. Maybe the next day you want to learn a little bit about business and how to start your own business. Maybe the next day you want to learn how money works and how to save money correctly and how to budget, etc., etc. And it never stops. It never stops. I still do this every day. And I can guarantee you, everyone that's way more successful than me, is still doing this. And that is how you find the purpose. But when do you get to that point? Nobody knows, because it's never ending. You always learn. And once you develop the competence by completing the little tasks and the little steps you set for yourself, that's when you have enough confidence to feel like you have this purpose that you can strive for now. So I hope this video helps. It's a bit of a long one. But yeah, enjoy the view. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.